Energy is very important to human life because we use energy for almost everything we do. However, some forms of energy are limited and some are renewable. Because of the limitation of energy, we have to use electricity more efficiently or reduce the use of fossil fuels to save the energy and protect the environment. Besides, renewing energy will be the better way to save the energy. In Vietnam, energy saving has also become a hot topic, according to the most recent report of the Ministry of Industry and Trade. It's forecasted that by the end of this century, Vietnam's energy resource will become scarce. Oil and gas fuel will be gradually exhausted. Hydropower, wind power, and solar energy, which can be easy to reproduce and renew, are the measures to generate electricity.
Hydropower. Hydropower, or hydroelectricity, refers to the conversion of energy from flowing water into electricity. It is considered a renewable energy source because the water cycle is constantly renewed by the sun. One of the first uses of hydroenergy was for mechanical milling, such as grinding grains. But today, modern hydro plants produce electricity using turbines and generators. The mechanical energy created by moving water spins rotors on a turbine. This turbine is connected to an electromagnetic generator which produces electricity when the turbine spins. There are two main types of hydroelectricity production: dams and run-of-river. Hydro dams utilize the potential energy from dammed water to produce electricity. A dam is a large barrier constructed to raise the level of water and control its flow. The elevation created by the dam creates gravitational force for turning the turbine when water is released. Some dams also contain an additional reservoir at their base where water is stored to be pumped to the higher reservoir for release when electricity is in demand. This is referred to as pumped storage hydro. The second form of hydroelectricity production is run-of-river hydro. Run-of-river still uses turbines and generators, but relies on natural water flow rates of rivers, diverting just a portion of the water through turbines. Because run-of-river hydro is subject to natural water variability, it is more intermittent than dammed hydro. There are various sizes of hydro plants that produce electricity. Large hydro, greater than 30 megawatts, small hydro, 100 kilowatts to 30 megawatts, and micro hydro, less than 100 kilowatts. The Hoover Dam in the United States is a whopping 2,074 megawatts, which is enough to serve 1.3 million people. Of all renewable energy sources, hydropower holds the largest share of worldwide electricity production. Hydropower has several benefits. It is a cost-competitive form of electricity, even though the initial building cost can be high. It is quite reliable compared to other renewable options and pairs well with other sources as it can be used as baseload power. In some cases, dammed reservoirs can also help with flood control and be a reliable water supply for communities. There are also some concerns with hydropower, especially when it comes to large dams. Damming a river has a major impact on the local environment, changing wildlife habitats, blocking fish passage, and often forcing people in riverside communities to move out of their homes. In addition, dam failures can be catastrophic, claiming the lives of those living downstream. Hydro plants are also not completely free of greenhouse gas emissions. As with most forms of energy, carbon dioxide emissions happen during construction, particularly due to the large quantities of cement used, and plant matter in the flooded areas makes methane, another greenhouse gas, as it decays underwater. That's hydropower. Solar. Solar energy is the most abundant renewable energy source in the world. Solar energy systems employ technologies that convert the sun's heat or light to another form of energy for use. There are two categories of technologies that harness solar energy: solar photovoltaics and solar thermal. Solar photovoltaic, or PV, is a technology that converts sunlight into direct current electricity by using semiconductors. In contrast, solar thermal is a technology that utilizes the heat energy from the sun for heating or electricity production. Solar is a renewable resource and does not emit any greenhouse gases. However, efficiency and intermittency are issues. Since sunlight is dependent on location, season, and time of day, harnessing the energy from the sun is a challenge. That's solar. Wind power. Wind, although it might not need explaining, is moving air caused by differences in atmospheric pressure. Wind speeds vary based on geography, topography, and season. Because of this, like other renewables, there are some locations better suited for wind energy generation than others. In fact, there are optimal wind locations both onshore and offshore. Energy is derived from wind by converting the air's motion into mechanical energy. Traditionally, this energy was used for milling grain and pumping water, but today is most commonly used to create electricity. The mechanism used to convert air motion into electricity is referred to as a turbine. A turbine is a large structure with several spinning blades, usually 3. These blades are connected to an electromagnetic generator that generates electricity when the wind causes the blades to spin. Wind is becoming an increasingly important part of the global electricity supply mix. A major advantage of wind is that the production of electricity has no direct CO2 emissions. But wind generation is not without its challenges. As everyone knows, the wind does not blow all the time, causing intermittency issues for power grids. The price tag of wind power has traditionally been higher than conventional electricity generation sources, though the wind cost curve has declined significantly in recent years. NIMBY concerns such as land use, noise, and bird disruption have also been raised in certain areas. That's wind power.
Now, current state for renewable energy in Vietnam. The use of fossil energy is one of the main causes of climate change and seriously affects human health. These sources of energy are also running out. While Vietnam is facing major challenge due to the sources of energy to meet the people needs, which have been exceeding the supply capacity. Therefore, with the growth of electricity demand about 10% per year, that promote research and use of renewable energy sources, especially hydropower, wind energy, and solar energy is very urgent in Vietnam. Firstly, solar energy. The uses of solar power in Vietnam have been developing. Because solar sources are always available, solar radiation is quite stable at average 150 calories per square meter. The demand of installing solar battery for families, office, factories have significantly increased in recent years. Most of families using solar energy for supplying warm and hot water for daily use. These organizations install solar battery that providing energy in using and operating. And here there are some big factories are producing solar battery. Secondly, hydropower. Hydropower also have been developed many years in Vietnam, with supplying electricity for nearly 99% of population. That make up 34% of producing electricity sources. Hydropower plants are also responsible for cutting and fighting floods for downstream in the rainy season, and at the same time providing water for production and people's daily needs in the dry season. According to the EVN, there are 385 hydropower constructions are running over the country in 2018. And up to now, we have 12 big hydro factories such as Sơn La, Hòa Bình, Lai Châu, Gia Ly, and Trị An. Thirdly, wind energy. Wind energy is a clean and endless source of energy. This is a prerequisite to bring the advantage of wind energy compared to the limited fossil energy. With technology become more advanced and using wind energy more popular, so the cost of wind energy is getting cheaper and cheaper. Vietnam is assessed as a country with high wind potential, concentrated mainly in central coast and south of Vietnam, such as Ninh Thuận, Bình Thuận, Sóc Trăng, Trà Vinh, Bạc Liêu province and islands. Now, for some remarkable example, the wind turbine farms on Phú Quý and Bạc Liêu Islands have performed well, and plug high economic efficiency meteorite. Sea wind farm currently contributes budget to local with stable revenue. For example, such as Baekliu province, reaching 76 billion per year. By the end of 2019, 7 wind power plants were in operating for a national installed capacity for 331 megawatts. So, Vietnam is running well in taking advantage of using renewable energy that has a huge potential to exploring in the future.
About the great opportunities of Vietnam. Firstly, Vietnam has a favorable geographical location. With the geographical location, long coastline, unique tropical monsoon climate, and agricultural economy, Vietnam has abundant and diverse renewable energy sources which can be exploited for energy production such as hydroelectricity, wind power, solar power, biomass, geothermal, and biofuels. Biogas energy potential is approximately 10 million cubic meters a year, which can be collected from landfills, animal excrements, and agricultural residues. Vietnam's geographic orientation, with approximately 3,400 kilometers of coastline, also provides abundant wind energy. Secondly, containing a huge demand. With the speed of the current energy consumption, traditional energy sources of the world are expected to be depleted quickly. Also, the world is moving toward the use of renewable energy sources, a new way to solve the problem of energy demand and the shortage of fossil fuels. This gives Vietnam the opportunity to embark on a sustainable development pathway, more efficient use of energy and domestic resource potential for both solar power and onshore or offshore wind. Finally, Vietnam features high energy intensity. Along with rapid growth from global economy, the global energy market has witnessed a remarkable decline in the cost of renewable energy technologies, as well as of battery storage. About the next part, other forms of renewable energy apart from solar, wind, and hydro energy. Our theme suggests the geothermal energy. First, we will sneak through an overview of geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is thermal energy generated and stored in the earth. This energy determines the temperature of matter. The geothermal power of the Earth's crust originates from the original formation of the planet and from radioactive decay of materials. The reasons why to believe is that geothermal power is cost-effective, reliable, sustainable, and environmentally friendly. In addition to economic value, geothermal power generation does not generate any waste and does not pollute the environment. On the other hand, geothermal power plants can operate continuously around the clock, regardless of climate factors such as solar, wind, or ocean winds. Moreover, 24 countries produce a lot of gigawatts-hour. For example, a total of 56,786 gigawatt-hours of electricity from geothermal energy in 2005, accounting for 0.3% of global electricity consumption. This amount of electricity is increasing every year by about 3%. Vietnam has discovered hundreds of mineral water ponds, of which more than half are hot springs, concentrated mainly in the northwest and south central regions. According to the research, Vietnam currently has about 274 source hot springs are distributed relatively evenly throughout the country, such as Thạch Bệ Quảng Ngãi, Minh Châu Hot Springs, with an average temperature of 70 to 100 Celsius degree at a depth of 3 kilometers. So, the first solution for existing challenge of Vietnam is introduction of new renewable energy and sustainable low-emission solutions that include the participation or directly benefits the low-income people of Vietnam. Secondly, looking for more foreign direct investment. Despite huge demand and potential market, it is lack of appropriate policies and investments to encourage and support business to develop energy market, especially renewable energy. A very large sum of money is needed for developing the advanced technology and infrastructure.
Bishop, the important way to conserve energy is use energy-efficient products, such as using energy-efficient bulk rather than incandescent light bulb. For the current situation of saving energy in Vietnam, we should promote the use of energy-efficient products. More, we also use renewable energy sources, thanks to the natural conditions such as dense river system, topography, as well as favorable climate. Vietnam has great opportunities to generate electricity from hydropower, wind power, and solar.